Functions. So what do you think functions represent in JavaScript? So JavaScript has a called function. It's a block code. So functions are reusable statements or a group of reusable statements that could be called anywhere in programming, okay, in your program. So why we use functions? So for one reason would be to avoid the need to rewrite the statement over and over again, okay? Helps enable developers to segment large-scale applications into smaller and more manageable pieces, okay? So we talked about functions, right? Functions are a block code, okay? Block code designed to perform a particular task. So this is how we write functions. Functions, and you have to define the name, right? My function, this is called parameter, okay? P1, comma P2. Inside of it, we have a return command, right? P1 times P2, okay? So inside of this parentheses, we call it parameter, okay? Inside of here. And then the arguments are the values received by function when it's invoked. So this parameters act as in like local variables, okay? So we can only access them inside here in this bracket, right? Okay, so next slide. So we define function, right, in previous slide. Now we have to know the difference between, there's two branch of functions. One of them will be function declaration and function expression. The function declaration is a normal function you declare, right? You name it, and then console the name, right? Same thing we looked at in the previous section, right? But this one has, the second one has different function expression. In the expression side of it, we use the var, okay, or let, or const, okay, whichever. We call it get name equal to, right, assign it to name. This is actually part of ES6, okay? This is another way of saying function, okay? It's called fat arrow, okay?
What's the difference?
Yeah, because this is a declaration in function. This is, you have to type in function, and in the expression of function, you have to just write the variable name and the name, right? Inside of that, we have a parameter, and this is function. Open the bracket, console.log name. So the difference, the other difference would be, I just put it in a star because I found it really important for you guys to know this. Only function that could be used anywhere in the scope where they are defined. So you can use this part of this block code of function anywhere in the code, okay? So you can really use this anywhere in your code, in your source code, okay?
So can you give an example of this? I can't.
Yeah, we're gonna look up some example. Okay, I'll show you later on. So you just, for now, you just have to know the difference between function declaration and function expression. So with the declaration, you start with, function, the name function. Okay, this is the keyword you have to use. Function, whichever name you want, and if you want to display parameter, you can name it here inside this braces, a bracket, and then console.log. Okay, but on the function expression, you have to use var or let. Okay, so so for example, in React, okay, React is a framework, or you know, some people define it as a library, but it's a framework of JavaScript. So in order for you to define things, you can use this part too. Okay, you can use let or const, get name. Okay, uh, so it's in the future, so you can really focus on that. So, but make sure know the difference between declaration and expression and function. Okay, and this one I've been asked maybe several times in the interview. They will ask you, what is dry? The word dry. So dry means don't repeat yourself. The goal is to create program little code as possible while maintaining complete clarity. Okay, so the main the main thing we use function is, you know um, it's a block code, right? It performs some specific particular task, right, in our code. So function means, the word function means, as an action, basically, right? As giving you some action, right? So basically we use function to use some specific task, right? So this come up a lot of times as in question. So dry, don't repeat yourself. The goal is to create program little code as possible while maintaining complete clarity. So the readers, whichever someone is reading your code, right? They have to have some clarity or understanding of what you wrote, right? To make it simple as possible. So it's really important that don't repeat yourself. Okay, that's what it meant here. Our exercise for today. Um, so we're going to talk about uh, our function declaration. Okay, this part here. Okay. Um, so to know the difference between, like, you ask, right? So you defined, say hello, right? Inside here, basically this is an argument. Okay, they call it an argument. So say hello world, right? In quotation. So you use the function. Uh, so right here you say hello, right? Uh, you can give it param, say word. Okay. You want a console log word. You remember I told you about having parameters as in local, right? This part of your program, right? Um, so we talked about a function being a reusable statement, and you can reuse it anywhere, right? So we say node, okay? See, it's giving us that, right? It's giving us node app, hello world, prints this one out, okay? But when it comes to, okay, let me just, okay, so we talked about this being function declaration, right? So you guys have to know the difference between declaration and expression, okay? All right, so in the expression, okay, let me just, okay. So the same thing, right? You just have to put this one here, say hello, right? And in declaration, we use that, but in expression, we use var or let, right? Var, say hello. All right. Assign to word, function, open the bracket, console, log, word. What do you think is going to happen here? I mean, it looks, similar to this, right? We have this var name, say hello. We'll have some printout, right? So in this case, it's going to give us error, okay? It will give us error. So look, it's going to give us error, okay? Say hello is not a function, all right? But if you use, and the function declaration is giving us hello world, right? But on the expression, right? Var, say hello world, word, console, okay? So that is the main difference, okay? When it comes to function declaration and function expression. Calling a function. Okay, function, greeting, right? Remember, you can leave it blank too. You don't have to put anything here, okay? It's up to you. So this is how we call our little function here, okay? You guys okay with it? So this is the normal function use, greeting, okay? Inside of this, open the bracket, inside of this, we use console.log. And we can use the argument saying greeting like this, right?
Shouldn't we do console log greeting to call the function?
Yeah, you can do both ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, both ways. So hello there, right?
Yeah.
Either way, you can call it in this way as well. Sometimes functions called as in methods as well. Okay, let's say var person, okay, equal to, we're gonna learn this maybe next week about objects. So all you have to do just, so var person equal to and open a bracket. That is telling us that we're creating an object, okay? An object methods. Speak. So we can create this function here. Okay. Console.log. Oh. All right. So you see this here, var person assigned to open the bracket name, David, speak, function console.log hello world. Okay. So let's save it. It's undefined, right? Person dot speak. So you want to output, right? So you can also use this, you can use the function as a method as well, okay? Inside this person, right? Block. you can really use it this way. So now we're going to talk about parameters, okay? So what are those? I talked to you about it, right? Parameters are names listed in the function definition, right? So we can say function. So right here, we define the name, say hello, right? Params, right here. We can call it name. We want a console, hello, right? Plus name, you see? So parameters are name listed in the function definition. They have real values passed, received by the function. So this is one parameter, right? I just use one, right? I just use the name as a parameter, and then I pass it through here as a console.log, right? So what do you think is gonna output here? So all I have to do is just say hello right here, open a bracket, call it Mark. Okay.
I was gonna say hello, Mark.
So yeah, hello, Mark, right? We're just passing this param to your console, right? Line 22, and then putting out hello, Mark. It could be any name, right? You could also have multiple params, okay? You could have multiple of them, right? You could have 2, 3, you know. In this example, let's see. So we have function sum x comma y comma z. So if you want to separate, if you want to use multiple, params, you have to separate them by commas, okay? So in console.log x plus y plus z, right? So in order to get this, remember we talked about having multiple params. You can also define it here, x, y, z, and we want to add all of these, right? And make sure when you write 3 params, make sure when you outputting, it has to be exactly the same, right? That is what matters with JavaScript, right? But JavaScript is loosely typed, so no need to type string numbers to specify the data types, right? We don't need to identify them here. So JavaScript, we learning that is loosely typed, right? 6, we got 6 here. Okay, what else? So callbacks. We're learning about callbacks here. So earlier we just finished learning parameters. What is parameters? Having parameters here in the bracket, right? So it's really good to learn the definition, okay? Parameters, and then arguments. Arguments is the name of this. When you're trying to type out something, it's called arguments, and this is inside this bracket is parameters, right? The second thing we learn about function would be callbacks. Okay, it's a really important concept. So callbacks are a function could be passed as an argument to be used to another function. Okay. So callbacks are like a function could be passed into as an argument. You're passing one function to another function you know, to be used for like an argument, okay? So I'll call back. So we have this function defined. Function say hello name, return hello name, right? And then we have another function right below here, okay? Function shout a in a foo in the parameter, right? And it will consoling out foo and a, right? And at the end, the argument would be this. So argument would be shout world. You know this, the first function, we put it here, say hello, right? And let's save it. What do we got? Okay, so say hello, right? Hello world, right? So not just only having just one function block, but we can also have two function and they call them at the end as an argument, okay? So from this word, we take out this word from this function, right? We return it. And we create another function called shout. We have parameter a and foo, console.log foo, okay? We want to console out foo and a, okay? And then the argument, we use world, right? And then say hello, which is this function here. We bring this function name as an argument and just calling this hello world, right? Also, we have another lesson called the return, okay? Return statement. So we have function, sum, okay? In parameter, we can put x comma y. Return x plus y. Okay, let's just, I'll put it here. See, it's giving us 5 here, okay? So you don't even have to put sometimes console.log, you know? It's best practice to have like some argument could be outside of the function. Okay. Okay, so that's all I have for today. So basically like using